vacation planning on a budget. It sounds like an oxymoron, right? But what if I told you that with some clever strategies, you could be sipping cocktails on a tropical beach without breaking the bank?
Oh, now that's something I'd love to hear more about. So many people think amazing vacations are out of reach financially.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. One of the best ways to save money on travel is to plan for off-peak seasons. It's amazing how much you can save just by avoiding school holidays and major events. I once booked a trip to Europe in late September, and not only were the flights nearly half the price of peak summer rates, but I also got to enjoy the beautiful autumn colours and fewer crowds at popular attractions.
That sounds like a win-win situation. I've had similar experiences with shoulder season travel. It's like getting a VIP experience without the VIP price tag.
Exactly. And speaking of getting more bang for your buck, let's talk about loyalty programs. Many people think these are only worthwhile for frequent travellers, but that's not necessarily true. Even if you only travel once or twice a year, signing up for airline and hotel loyalty programs can lead to some nice perks.
Oh, that's interesting. What kind of perks are we talking about here?
Well, things like free Wi-Fi, early check-in, or even room upgrades can make your trip more comfortable without costing extra. And over time, you might accumulate enough points for a free night's stay or a discounted flight. It's all about playing the long game.
So it's not just about the rewards, but also about building a relationship with the brand.
Precisely. Now let's talk about one of the biggest expenses in travel: flights. Airline sales can be a goldmine if you know how to watch for them. I'm a big fan of using tools like Google Flights or Skyscanner to track prices. It's like a game, trying to catch that perfect dip in price.
That sounds like it could be time-consuming. Is it really worth the effort?
Oh, absolutely. I remember shifting my vacation by just 2 days once and saving nearly 30% on the airfare. It's wild how much prices can fluctuate. And if you're flexible with your travel dates, you can save even more. A study by cheapair.com found that booking flights on a Tuesday or Wednesday can save you an average of £58 per ticket compared to booking on the weekend.
Well, that's certainly nothing to sneeze at. What about accommodations? Any tips for saving money there?
Definitely. One strategy I've found really effective is choosing accommodations with kitchens. It's not just about saving money on eating out. It's about having the freedom to enjoy local markets and try your hand at cooking with ingredients you might not find at home. According to a survey by Booking.com, 64% of travellers say they choose accommodations with kitchen facilities to save money on food expenses.
That's a great point. I love wandering through local markets when I travel. It's such a great way to immerse yourself in the culture.
Exactly. And let's face it, sometimes after days of eating out, you just crave a simple home-cooked meal. Plus, it's a great way to connect with locals. I once had a lovely conversation with an elderly woman at a market in Italy who gave me her family's secret pasta sauce recipe.
Now, that's the kind of travel experience you can't put a price on. Speaking of unexpected elements of travel, what about those sneaky expenses that can catch you off guard?
Oh, don't get me started on those. I once got hit with a hefty roaming charge because I forgot to check my phone plan before an international trip. Lesson learned the hard way. Now, I always make sure to either get an international plan or buy a local SIM card at my destination.
Any other hidden costs we should be aware of?
Well, transportation fees can add up quickly, especially in tourist areas. I always research public transportation options before I go. Many cities offer multi-day passes that can save you a bundle compared to individual tickets or taxis. For example, in London, a 7-day Oyster card can save you up to 50% on transportation costs compared to buying single tickets.
That's a great tip. And speaking of planning ahead, I've found that downloading maps and essential documents for offline use is a real lifesaver. It's saved me more than once when I've found myself without data in a new city.
Smart move. You know, all this talk about travel has me thinking about holiday shopping. It's another area where costs can spiral out of control if you're not careful.
Oh, absolutely. The pressure to buy gifts for everyone can be overwhelming. What's your strategy for keeping holiday shopping under control?
I've actually started buying gifts throughout the year. Whenever I see a great sale or find something perfect for someone, I'll pick it up and store it away. It spreads out the cost and takes a lot of stress out of the holiday season. Plus, it gives me more time to really think about what each person would appreciate rather than panic buying at the last minute.
That's brilliant. I've been trying to focus more on experience-based gifts lately. Instead of buying more stuff, I'll get tickets to a show or plan a fun outing. It creates memories and doesn't add to the clutter.
I love that idea. It's so much more personal too. I once gifted my parents a cooking class, and they still talk about it years later. It's not just about the experience itself, but the stories and inside jokes that come from it.
That's fascinating. It really makes you think about how we approach gift giving and celebrations. Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on holiday decorations? That's another area where costs can add up quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I've started buying decorations and wrapping paper right after the holidays when everything goes on clearance. You can often find discounts of 50 to 75% off, which adds up to significant savings over time. Plus, it's a great way to get high-quality decorations that you might not splurge on at full price.
That's so smart. You get to enjoy the fun of holiday shopping without the financial pressure. Plus, you're all set for next year before it even begins.
Exactly. It's all about planning ahead. Which brings me to an important point: the value of saving specifically for travel and holiday expenses throughout the year. I've started setting aside a small amount each month into a dedicated fun fund. It's amazing how quickly it adds up.
That's a great idea. It must make a huge difference when it comes time to book that trip or buy those gifts.
It really does. It's the difference between enjoying the moment and stressing about the credit card bill that's coming. And when you're not worried about money, you can be more present and really soak in the experience. By planning ahead and budgeting for these expenses, we can significantly reduce that stress.
That's a powerful statistic. It really drives home the importance of financial planning. Any final thoughts on how our listeners can make the most of their holidays and vacations without breaking the bank?
I think the key is to start planning early and be creative. Whether it's finding off-peak travel deals, buying gifts throughout the year, or coming up with new traditions that don't revolve around spending money, there are so many ways to celebrate and travel without breaking the bank. And don't forget to involve your family or friends in the process. Sometimes the most meaningful traditions are the ones you create together.
Well said. And remember, it's not about having the most expensive trip or the biggest pile of presents. It's about creating meaningful experiences and memories with the people you care about.
Absolutely. One thing we haven't touched on is the importance of being flexible and open to new experiences. Some of my best travel memories have come from unexpected detours or last-minute changes of plan. There's something exciting about embracing the unknown and being willing to step out of your comfort zone.
That's so true. It's often those unplanned moments that become the highlight of a trip. Any specific examples come to mind?
Well, I remember one time when a flight cancellation led to an unplanned road trip through the countryside. We ended up discovering this amazing little town that wasn't in any of the guidebooks. We had the best meal of our entire trip at a tiny family-run restaurant, and the owner even invited us to join in on a local festival happening that evening. It turned what could have been a frustrating travel mishap into one of the most memorable parts of our vacation.
That sounds incredible. It just goes to show that sometimes the best experiences can't be planned or bought.
Exactly. And that ties back into a whole discussion about budgeting and planning. While it's important to be financially prepared, it's equally important to leave room for spontaneity and unexpected joys. It's about finding that balance between being responsible with your money and allowing yourself the freedom to truly enjoy your travels and celebrations.
I couldn't agree more. It sounds like the key is to do your homework and plan ahead where you can, but also to stay open to new opportunities as they arise.
That's it in a nutshell. And this approach doesn't just apply to big vacations or holiday celebrations. We can bring this mindset into our everyday lives too. Finding ways to create special moments and experiences without spending a lot of money can make life richer and more enjoyable overall.
Well, that's certainly given us all a lot to think about. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as we wrap up?
I think the main takeaway is this: with a bit of planning, creativity, and the right mindset, you can have amazing vacations, celebrate holidays, and create special memories without putting yourself in financial stress. Remember, the most valuable things in life, love, laughter, connection, are free. So focus on those, be smart with your money, and enjoy the journey. Financial fitness isn't about restriction, it's about freedom to enjoy life on your own terms.
Well said. And on that note, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. We hope these tips help you plan some amazing budget-friendly adventures and celebrations.
And remember, financial fitness is a journey. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep enjoying life's special moments. Until next time.